yeah. So it is very I'm very happy to be here with you. This is my second time coming to Coventry, and my first visit was quite a long time ago.
Last century.
Is it? And since then, Venerable Dawa asked me several times to, they come and have a weekend classes, but somehow I haven't managed to do that. But today I'm here with you. So I want to say thank you for inviting, and also thank you for coming to join this today's class. We will start the class, today's gathering. I'm sure most of you know this. In general, whatever activity that we do, and in particularly this kind of gathering, if we start with the right, positive, constructive intention to join the class, is very, very useful. So, in other words, that mind lead us here, and then to join the activities such as meditation, listening to the talk, contemplating what is said, and if there are questions, ask the questions. So these activities that we are going to do be very helpful, useful, mainly after the event. It is very much dependent on the mind that lead us here to do that, to join the event. If that mind is open, at least an open, neutral states of mind, if it is possible, more than or further than open and neutral states of mind, a positive, a constructive states of mind. And when I use the term positive and constructive, I'm not saying, in this stage, I'm not saying, some deep philosophically or religiously. I'm simply saying, in a common sense, a positive, a constructive mind. Then, of course, people who have spiritual path, such as Buddha Dharma, then it is very useful. Motivate yourself according to that spiritual path you are following. So at the beginning of this kind of gathering, it is helpful, all of us, not just you, including myself, all of us try to have a positive, a constructive mind will be helpful. Then here I want to say a few words on the people who have taken Buddha Dharma as your spiritual journey. Then your motivation to to join the class will be such as the mind taking refuge, and that is our today's main subject that I'm going to talk. We are going to discuss. So that mind, to motivate yourself, having that mind going for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha will be very, very useful. Then some of you not only taking the Buddha Dharma as your spiritual journey, for some reasons you have chosen the Mahayana teachings, Bodhisattva teachings as your spiritual journey, spiritual path. If that is the case, then for you it will be helpful to motivate yourself, not only with the mind going for refuge, but also bodhicitta, mind of enlightenment, or the altruistic awakened mind, the altruistic, the motivation is very helpful, because to practice Mahayana practices, to follow the Bodhisattva and the teachings, this mind, the bodhicitta in Sanskrit, or in English there are several translations, such as the altruistic awakened mind, or I usually call mind of enlightenment. So motivating yourself according to with this mind will be useful. So for that purpose, in order to start the event with the positive and a constructive mind, for that purpose we are going to read here, I'm showing in front of you, that refuge and bodhicitta, refuge and bodhicitta. Usually you do in Tibetan or in English?
You do 3 times in Tibetan and then do it in English.
Okay. So we'll do the same. First 3 times we'll read in phonetic English, in Tibetan, the phonetic, and then 1 time read in English. Sanje chöda tsoji cho nam la chanju pado dane japso che dagi chen so jibe sunam ji drola penje sanje droba sho. Sanje chöda tsoji cho nam la chanju pado dane japso che dagi chöshe jibe Sunamanji Drola Penje Sanje Drubajo Sanje Chöda Tsoji Cho Namala Chanju Pado Dane Japsu Che Dagi Chöshe Jibe Sunamji Drola Penje Sanje Drubajo. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, through the merits I create by giving and Dharma and other sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly, through the merits I create by listening to the Dharma. May I become the Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. Through the merits of listening to the Dharma, may I become Buddha. Vaya. Today's subject, the topic that I'm going to talk, and later we are going to have some discussions on the topic, is going for refuge. Going for refuge. Before I start to talk on that subject, Buddhist way of going for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, I usually make one or two points that I found quite useful from my own experiences and from my own background. As you know, my background, myself, I'm a Tibetan. I was born in that, the environment where Buddhism, Buddha Dharma is part of, the culture, part of the Tibetans' way of living, and almost 99% Tibetans are, we can call it Buddhist. At least, the parents are, going to Buddhist monasteries, and their own home have Buddhist shrines and perform some of the Buddhist practices. So, I was born in that kind of environment, and when I was 13, for different reasons, I became monk when I was 13. So I didn't have the opportunity or chance to ask these two questions, which I usually say people to ask these two questions before you take the Buddha Dharma as your spiritual path. And the two questions are, the first question is, why do I need spirituality or religion? And the second question is, why Buddha Dharma? So these two questions I find quite important to ask very sincerely, very genuinely, and take time to get the answer. But I didn't get this chance because my background, and because of not I'm not saying I'm regret being a Buddhist, or not saying that, but if I had a chance to ask these two questions to myself, do I need a spirituality? And if the answer is yes, and then why Buddhism? Why not other spiritual traditions? So for you particularly, from the different the religious background, at least your forefathers, most of you, I'm sure, background or is Christianity, and maybe some other Judaism, or all your parents are completely they do not have any the religious belief. From that kind of background,